Mewtwo! Do I have your attention yet? Excellent. Now, this wasn't clickbait, don't worry. There is a reason why I mentioned Mewtwo with regards to this video. So if you want to find out, stay tuned and watch the rest of this video. Now, what I'm about to tell you guys, don't misunderstand me. I'm not trying to say this so that you guys can sympathize with me, but basically I have been spending some premium and free raid passes to test out some of these, well, tests. So please subscribe to me down below and I would appreciate it a lot. I did this for you guys. I did multiple attempts and failed many times so that you guys don't fail. So please subscribe. Thank you. Well, I was about to head out, but it's starting to rain and it does not look good. So let's just do this in the car. Okay, so basically this past month I've not been posting any videos, and that's because I've been finding out the answer to the question, can raids be soloed? Now, it's a fairly simple question. It's very common knowledge for a lot of our Pokemon Go community players that Tier 4, Tier 5 raids definitely not soloable, Tier 1 and 2 manageable, and Tier 3 is the most interesting of all tiers. Now, Tier 4 and Tier 5 are definitely out of the table, so let's not even talk about those. Those are impossible to solo on your own with just one account. Now, Tier 1 raids are so simple that I think even level 20 players should find it relatively easy to beat any Tier 1 raid boss, especially Magikarp. Come on, Magikarp doesn't even do any damage to you guys. So Tier 2 is where things get a little bit interesting, but not quite yet. So Tier 2, if you're above level 30, should be a piece of cake. It should be very manageable. But there is one Pokemon in question that is very interesting to note, and I did some special research on this Pokemon, and it is Weezing. So if you guys want to find out what's so interesting about Weezing, just watch till the end of this video and I'll be explaining why exactly it is a cause of concern for some players. Now, on to the main topic of this video, Tier 3 raids. Now, Tier 3 raids, some of them can be soloed, some of them cannot be soloed. And this past month, I have been experimenting with different types of raids. I've not gone for too many Suicune raids because Suicune, well, it sucks. Now, let's talk about Tier 3 raids. Tier 3 is by far the most interesting tier of all the 5 tiers. This is because, like I said, some of them can be soloed while some of them cannot. Now, out of the 7 Pokemon in Tier 3, let's remove 2 of them first. Jolteon and Flareon. Now, Jolteon is impossible to beat. I have not seen any video footage of it anywhere, and this is because Jolteon only takes super effective damage from ground types, and the strongest ground type Pokemon we have is Rhydon, and Rhydon's moves are way too slow to take down Jolteon. There's just not enough time. The 3-minute time that we are given to beat Jolteon is just not enough for one person to beat it alone. Now, Flareon has incredibly high defense stats, which is why it is difficult to beat as well. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible because there is video footage of it, and as you guys can see over here, this guy has beaten Flareon on his own using just one account. But if you look at the description of his video, you will see that he said he has attempted Flareon 30 times. So 30 times he failed, and finally he managed to get Flareon solo. So that's how difficult it is to get Flareon. And if you look at his Pokemon, he's using 400% IV golems. So that's obviously, I don't think a lot of people have 400% IV golems. If you are level 40, if you have powered up golems, 100% IV golems, then I would say go for it. But it's still a huge risk. Then I would highly recommend not to go for Flareon alone, because you're probably going to waste your raid pass. The rest of the 5 Pokemon, let's talk about the 3 easiest Pokemon: Vaporeon, Machamp, and Arcanine. Now, these 3 Pokemon are relatively easy to beat by any player above level 30. Now, I say it's easy, but you need to have the right counters and they need to be well powered up. Personally, I tried Vaporeon and Machamp. I could not even get close. These are the results. Here's Machamp and here's Vaporeon, and it really goes to show that you need powered up Pokemon. All of my Pokemon that I used in these two raids were under 2500 CP. In fact, they were only about 2200 CP, not counting the Exeggutor, of course, but a lot of them were very low level. And that goes to show how important it is to have your Mons powered up. So I wasted my pass, yes, but at least now I learned that I will not be able to do Machamp or Vaporeon raids alone unless I power up my Pokemon. Arcanine is a fairly easy Pokemon to beat. That's the one that I have beaten among all the tier 3 raids. Arcanine without Wild Charge should be reasonably easy to defeat with this squad. I used 3 Vaporeons and one Golem and an Omastar. Basically, it is possible to beat an Arcanine without Wild Charge. Now, with Wild Charge, it is still beatable. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I couldn't do it because I was still using Vaporeons. I wouldn't say it was a bad choice because I have used Golems and Rhydons before. The Rhydons are just too slow to take down Arcanine, which is why I tried to use Vaporeons instead. And I got kind of the same results. I would usually end up only around the 4th or 5th Pokemon being used. So it really is about the time, not about my Pokemon fainting when it comes to Arcanine. So just bring in your fastest attackers. So Vaporeon, Golems, they definitely should be in your arsenal if you want to go up against an Arcanine. Finally, the last 2 Pokemon from tier 3 are Gengar and Alakazam. Now, Gengar and Alakazam both have Focus Blast, which is a fighting type move. And the best counters to use against Gengar and Alakazam would be Dark types, which are weak to fighting type moves. So, using Tyrantars and Houndooms against a Gengar and Alakazam with Focus Blast will not be your best choice because, well, I failed tremendously. Very badly, I failed. And it's not something I would advise you to go for. If you don't have other Pokemon like Gyarados with Bite Crunch or Feraligatr with Bite Crunch, then I advise you not to go against a Gengar or an Alakazam with Focus Blast. Now, if the Gengar and Alakazam don't have Focus Blast, if they have other moves, then it should be okay for you to go ahead and do these raids, because this is what I did with Gengar and oh my god, so close. I was so close to beating it. You literally can't even see the red line anymore, and well, it said timeout, so timeout. There's nothing I can do about it. So yeah, basically obviously I did try it again and again, but I never came that close. So it was just a question of, you need to also time your moves well. So all of these images that I've shown you so far, I have been dodging either not at all or minimal dodging. So if you dodge too much, if you dodge every other move, then you're definitely going to run out of time. So don't dodge too much. If you're just going to go all out attack, it's also fine, but make sure that your Pokemon are powered up. That's the most crucial thing. Bring the right Pokemon and power up your Pokemon. Anything under 2500 for any of the tier 3 raid bosses, in my opinion, will not do. So if your squad is similar to mine, then expect similar results to mine. You'll probably only be able to do a non-wild charge Arcanine. If you have better Pokemon than me, and I'm sure a lot of you probably do, then you probably will be able to defeat any tier 3 raid boss, not counting Flareon and Jolteon. But apart from those, you should be able to defeat these tier 3 raid bosses with relative ease. Right, so I totally forgot about the Mewtwo thing. The reason why I shouted Mewtwo was because, well, everyone wants Mewtwo, and the only way to get Mewtwo is to get an EX raid invite. How do you get that? You do raids in a wide variety of gyms. The more gyms you do raids at, then the higher your chance at getting that EX raid pass. Which is why I advise all of you, anyone above level 30, please go ahead and try and attempt to do these solo raids, because sometimes you're just not going to find enough people to raid with. Then you have to rely on solo raids. Of course, you can go ahead and do tier 1 and tier 2 raids, but the reason why I'm encouraging tier 3 raids to be soloed is because tier 3 raids will give you that higher amount of rewards. So you can possibly even get a TM better rare candy and golden raspberry drop rates as well. Alright, so I was talking about Weezing earlier and why it's a special Pokemon. So Weezing is a tier 2 raid boss. Technically it should be very easy to beat, and the reason why a lot of people are finding it difficult to go up against Weezing is because of its typing and its movesets. Now, Weezing is a poison type, so it's weak to ground and psychic types. But Weezing's movesets are strong against psychic types. So using a psychic type Pokemon against Weezing may not be the best idea, especially if you're going up against an Infestation Dark Pulse or Infestation Shadow Ball Weezing. Now, I went out and I tried and I tested this method as well, and I realized Rhydon's definitely your number one choice against Weezing. 3 Rhydons is all it takes to take down a Weezing. Now, you can also use your high DPS Pokemon, so I tested it out with Dragonite, Tyranitar, Vaporeon, blah blah blah, and still it took about the same amount of time with about 30 seconds spare. You can still beat Weezing easily. Finally, I tested it out with Psychic type Pokemon, and similar to Machamp, my Psychic type Pokemon are not powered up, so I still went in and I still attempted it and I failed. But it was a very close match, definitely much closer than the Machamp one. And in this case, we can see that I had about 20 seconds or so remaining, and that's when all my Pokemon fainted. Now, imagine if at least 2 out of my 6 Psychic type Pokemon were powered up. I probably could have made it through, and I probably could have finished off Weezing, but it would have been a very tight call, and I'm not putting any guarantee on it. So basically, I have a friend who told me the other day she could not do a Weezing raid boss alone, and she's level 35. Same as me, which got me intrigued, and that is why I tested out these Weezing raids. So thank you for sparking my interest in doing these Weezing raids. I finally found out that if you have weak Psychic type Pokemon, you probably can't beat Weezing, but if you have enough Rhydons or enough high DPS Pokemon, it should not be a problem at all. Right then, if you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to me. I really appreciate it a lot. And if you guys want to find out how to beat Raikou, then check out the video over here. And I will see you guys in the next one.